And when I was faced with almost death experience, it makes you doubt your abilities, your talents, it makes you doubt who you are. The bigger the mission, the bigger the challenge. Who is loving me so much? And when you meet people who challenge that, it all crashes. Like, you can pretend for so long, but then it's just gonna come out. I was chasing wrong things. But you always need to start from within, always. This is what science has to say. This is what spiritual world has to say. This is the combination, and that's the perfect mix. That's the perfect cocktail. Come back, girl. That's not your path. And cut. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Julia Dars and I'm a neuronumeric guide and mentor. But in this video, I will be talking about some insights. Today, I'm turning 35 years old. Time flies. And I just really wanted to make a video without any plan or structure and just share with you some insights. And I hope this will be helpful for people who might be experiencing certain things that I've already been through, certain interesting, I guess, roads in my life, certain fuck-ups, so to speak, and also things that I've used and that helped me to get where I am right now. I didn't plan this video. I didn't think of how or what should I say. I really think that the flow will guide me, and whatever I need to convey here and whatever message is there, it's gonna come for sure. Today actually was interesting. I started it as a promise to myself that I'm gonna leave certain things behind me. You know, like a New Year resolution, right? I know they don't work, but however, I felt like something is different today. That turning 35 somehow deep inside felt differently. I don't know why. For the past couple, I guess, months, I was really in a turmoil of making decisions and finding the path, and also doubting the path I'm on right now. It's interesting how it works. Once you discover it, you're so certain. You really know that this is your mission and this is your purpose. And then what I've realized that the challenge comes in and it makes you doubt. It makes you doubt your abilities, your talents. It makes you doubt who you are and that you're not worthy. And what I've realized as well is that the bigger the mission, the bigger the challenge. And I want to say that I'm not here to talk down to anything like a 9-to-5 job or anything like this. Absolutely not. I'm just stating my opinion here and speaking my mind. But I think if you have a path of helping and serving people, impacting their lives, and it really what keeps you up at night. And this is exactly what keeps me up at night, thinking, what kind of topic can I, discover for people? What should I talk? How can I improve certain things? What message should I bring, to the world? And then obviously overthinking makes it way more difficult, and then the radio switches to, all doubting yourself and like, well, maybe it's not that as a good idea, and your brain is trying, or your mind is trying to keep that homeostasis, right? I remember when I just started actually doing like life coaching and changing my content from fitness to life coaching, I was really devastated because I'm like, well, should I speak? Should I tell this? Should I speak about this? And then some sort of a video comes into my phone. I'm watching something and this person speaks about it, and I'm like, well, maybe it's not as stupid as I thought. So my point is that if you in the path of service, and I think everything is service, but you feel like and I think more people right now also feel that there's more to them than just than they thought even. And speaking for myself, I guess my mission is also to help people. I have gifts and talents that God gave me. And they're not for me, they are for other people. I just hosted a retreat, which was absolutely amazing. And before the retreat was such a painful thinking process of why should I even do this? Organization, bringing chairs, all these small details that really don't matter when you see the eyes of people who have insight. We had a beautiful woman. She's in her 50s, and you know how amazing it is when you see that her reality just shifted with new realization about herself, and that would direct her to a different life path, to a different, not 180 degrees, but it will give her more confidence, it will give her more understanding of her own gifts, and that's priceless. And that's where I realized that yes, this is the right path. And when you serving people, when you do coaching, when you do mentorship, guiding, it's always a second guess or a second thought of who am I? Am I worthy of doing that? It's always like this. I haven't met probably, anyone who is in this industry who would be like, oh yeah, I am it. That's like an ego part. And certainly there are people out there that maybe there for wrong reasons. But for me, it was never about money, it was never about fame or although it comes with it, right? Like if you want more people to hear your message, you have to learn certain skills as well. You have to learn how to sit down and film yourself. You have to learn how to speak up. You have to learn how to talk so you don't hurt others people, feelings, and also convey your message in a proper way. Because one phrase could be delivered differently, even the tone could be different. So I realized that if you in this mission, then the challenge will be way greater than just for you to go do your job, come back and enjoy, let's say, a TV show. Obviously, people from that realm, it's very hard for them to understand what am I talking about right now, because it's like, well, girl, what is it with you? It's all good, like just go and do it, right? But the challenges are there certainly, and if you are right now on or even if you trying to discover your mission or your purpose, I think it's that you need to first remember that there will be challenges out there that will challenge your ability to even think straight. It will challenge your physical ability. It will challenge you to wake up earlier or give up unhealthy food or unhealthy habits. It's all challenges, right? They will challenge you maybe to stop being in a circle of people who don't give you good influence, right? It will challenge your thoughts. It will challenge your way of living, to be honest, the entire thing. It will always be checking with the reality. Are you living the reality, or are you living behind the rose glass glasses, right? Are you pretending, or is that the concept you build in your mind, in your head, that this is exactly what I wanted, or this is exactly the life is? All of a sudden, that's where the pain comes in, because the realization. I was just talking with my friend and I said, I think every transformation probably possible only through pain. And we think of pain as something bad, right? It's something, but uncomfortable, and it is uncomfortable. But is it necessarily bad? I tell you that every transformation I had in my life was tremendously challenging, painful, sleepless, stressful, overthinking, but that's my concept of doing it. And over the years, I acknowledged this and I said, I'm going to change it. Because yes, right now, let's say just this past week was very challenging because there's new things I'm building, new program, which I'm very excited. I'm also like a lot of fear there. I'll tell you about my insight today during my meditation. But it's been changing my reality and, in a sense, my physical form, right? Retreat also on top of it, certain financial challenges, and I was very drained. But then I thought that I'm mostly draining myself with the concept of the idea that I had in my head. And as much as I know all of this psychology, neuroscience, I forget sometimes that, hey, this is great. This is for you, not against you. And it's almost like I have to remind myself. I live in the same world as you are, and it's sometimes very difficult to disconnect from certain information, people. For me, as my business relies on social media, it's always learning funnels, learning new things, and sometimes you just get so sucked into this illusion that you forget about everything else, and then you forget that core value, that core belief that it is your path, and today when I woke up, I really asked myself, what am I willing, or what do I want to leave behind, to leave at this border, and with this 35, what do I want to bring with me? What kind of resonance, vibration I want to have? And I'm sorry if it's deep. Please ask any questions, because I know that my language could be a little bit off for you. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible as well, because I know that some people just don't know the terminology, right? The resonance, vibration. But when I say vibration, I mean that what kind of person I want to be. Imagine a musical instrument, right? There are 7 strings, for instance, in the guitar, and vibration of each string will be different. Will be high pitch, will be low pitch, right? And we used to think of low pitch music as sad or dramatic or painful, and high pitch is usually associated with happiness, joy, light, playfulness, right? So when I'm saying or referring to myself as a vibrational being, I'm saying what do I want? How do I want to vibrate? And we vibrate on certain frequency. I will link a very interesting video here about how sound or vibration in different hertz can create patterns on the scent. It's fascinating. So the same way, it also you vibrate. And when we look around in our environment, right, there are things that we want, there are things that we don't want, there are things that we would like to have. And it's always a question, am I vibrating on the frequency that attracts those things? Am I vibrating on a frequency that attracts people like, driven people, motivated people, people who want to make a difference and impact in this world, people who believe in their services and their product, who have mission and purpose? Am I vibrating on that frequency? And if I am, then in my life, and it was the reality check for me today, I started reflecting, who I have right now around me. And a long time ago, I cut out all the relationships that weren't serving me anymore at that point. And I realized that I do have all people around me in my circle, my close friends, who are always about mission driven. They purpose, they provide services, they serve people, they help people, they're light, they meditate. We speak the same language. We resonate with them a lot. And in my reality, it's impossible to have anyone who would be, let's say, talking about let's go and rob someone, or let's go and do harm to someone. We don't resonate on the same frequency. My morals, values, and beliefs, they're not there. So when you look into your reality or around yourself, you gotta see if there's something you don't want to have, whether it's people, events, behaviors. If you have them, that means that something inside of you already resonates with that. Something already inside of you that exists, that attracts that, right? Speaking about, let's say, toxic relationships. And many, both women and men blame each other for being toxic. But if you weren't toxic at the beginning, you weren't attract that person. That means you resonated on the same frequency. Because if a person, a healthy individual who respects their boundaries, knows their worth, have some sort of a standard for themselves, again, I don't think it's good or bad. I think it's everybody's choice, right? And everybody has free will. This person is healthy, let's say, going to the gym, working out. Do you think that, and it's a healthy individual, right? No understanding how a relationship should be. I'm not talking about having challenges or arguments in relationships. It's normal, and that's also the point for growth in every relationship. But this person who is healthy and knows what they want probably most likely won't attract the person who, let's say, I don't know, not trustworthy or lying all the time, because it's very easy to see, right? Like maybe who is emotional unavailable or unstable or has low emotional intelligence. A healthy individual, or like the individual in a certain vibration, would not be putting with that. But if this person already has some discrepancies, some toxic inclinations, then this would attract, this frequency would attract that person until they kind of like heal each other and they stop doing that, right? So that's how I understand, and it's a good tool for you to also use in your life, how to check why something isn't in your life or why something is in your life, right? So to me, I checked today and was very grateful. First reel that I posted on my social media was about just being grateful for people I have in my life, being grateful for my parents. That's another big accomplishment for me, big, because as we all, grow and the mainstream tells us that our parents did something wrong and there's trauma in you, childhood trauma. And it is right and correct, but first of all, as the soul and as a numeric guide, I believe that we choose our parents because we know, the soul knows, what kind of challenges it wants to overcome, the debts, the karmic debts, what kind of challenges it needs in order to come to that purposeful, meaningful path, right, on that path. But with media and all of this, they forget to mention certain things, like you have to accept it first. You have to realize that even if your parents weren't, gold-winning parents of the year, they did their best from the awareness and consciousness and mindfulness they had at that moment. We can't potentially compare what we know to what our parents knew back then. We can't potentially say that our parents did a poor job raising us, because I don't believe that any parent has any bad intention towards a child. Probably there are, different cases and scenarios, obviously injustice, trafficking and things like that. But I'm talking about general situation here. And for me, I obviously went through the phase of blaming my parents and thinking, how come, why? why my mother raised her hand, right, and why she screamed, and this anger, until I got my own puppy, and I realized that I can't deal with him not listening to me, right? I'm like frustrated. I was frustrated, and I remember this anger raising inside of me, and I'm like, oh, that's what my mom felt. But I have Joe Dispenza, I have meditation, I have psychology, I have understanding of things. My mom didn't. She didn't. She only knew that is probably not the correct way. And I realized that, and I started changing my relationship with my mom. At first, I had to put certain boundaries. I had to also show her that there's a time for us to go separate ways, and that I have my own life, and that I'm capable of making my own decisions, which really my mom never was against any decision that I was making, but certain things. Sometimes it was passive-aggressive conversations, right? So when I realized that, and truly what I realized with my mom is when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes back in Belarus, when I wasn't following my mission, when I wasn't following my purpose, I also wasn't following self-care routine. I was chasing wrong things, put it this way. And when I saw my mom putting her best, her soul, into taking care of me in the hospital, I think she was ready to kill anyone who would not help at that moment. When I saw it, I saw her different. Like I'm laying there on the hospital bed and with the IV in my hand, in my arm, and I'm looking at her, and I see this beautiful angel. This beautiful angel who is loving me so much. The woman who I blamed for so long for raising me in the wrong way. The attributes and features that I saw in myself that I was so resisting and thinking this is a curse from her. And when I was faced with almost death experience and I saw my mom, I realized that she is the best part of me that I have. And that was a very beautiful insight, because I also realized that these are my strong qualities. This is what makes me me. I'm laughing very loudly. I could be a little bit goofy sometimes. I could be a little bit too assertive in a good way, in a loving way. And then I saw that everybody loves my mom. Like really, she has no enemies, never had. And who am I to judge her? From my 20-something plus year old experience, I'm judging a woman who raised me, who gave me her soul, her heart, everything. She even refused to have a second child because she wanted to give all love to me. And this is sacrifice. I think, my opinion, this is sacrifice. And here I am, sitting and judging her. So my work started with accepting. Not forgiving, not understanding, accepting. Really. Forgiveness, I feel, it's like, it depends on the situation, but in that situation I felt that forgiveness, if I would to forgive my mom for this, it would be from a higher position, and I would put myself on the pedestal and she would be down. And I certainly knew it's not the case. So I started accepting it, and I started really opening my heart and thinking and being grateful. Anytime I've heard, "You're so beautiful," I was sending it to my mom because of her. You're so beautiful because of her. I needed that to practice the great gratitude towards my mom and also have that power. Because when we cut out from our lineage and our family, and I don't know what you believe or not, but I believe that they give us power. And when I did this, I felt like this was a million more souls supporting me, because that was my entire mom lineage was behind her. If I don't accept her, I don't accept anyone in my entire generation and my lineage, my family line, right? I felt so much powerful, and our conversations changed, and our relationship changed completely. I became her daughter, I stopped lecturing her. I stopped saying what's wrong, what's right. I stopped doing this, and I just became her daughter. And I accepted the fact that she's asking what I eat every day. I accepted the fact that she's telling me or, worrying about me, because you know what? Who else is gonna do this? Who else? This is her role. Duh. I love it. And you know what, Mom? Do it more. I would love to talk with you about what I ate. I love to tell you about the weather. Even I love your questions when you ask next day what's new. You know what? Who else is gonna do this? No one. And this was step number one, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud that in my 35 years old, I really feel such a deep connection with my parents, such deep connection with my entire lineage. It was a work that I've been doing for a couple of years. I'm very proud that I changed relationship with my dad, because there was a situation where having the toxic vibration in me, I attracted toxic people. Something that I felt we had to heal together. And as it happens in best drama movies, we broke up. We broke up from being absolutely in synchronization and harmony a week ago to I really don't feel it, and I don't think I can give you what you want. Cold heart. And I was heartbroken, because that was the time after so long where I decided to open up my heart again. I decided to trust love. I decided to trust men again. And I felt betrayed, and I also felt that this is my dad's problem. That, daddy syndrome, that he didn't give me love, that I didn't hear I love you, this whole past whining, I did neurographics, you probably don't see it, but it's right there on the wall. I did neurographics session to get to the deeper insights of this issue. Neurographics works with subconscious. This is exactly where I wanted to get my answers from. And it showed me that, it stands from there, from not having really a dad that I thought I should have. And we have this phrase, it's like a funny phrase. The biggest problem of a father is that he's not a mother. And I'll let you sit with this. But truly, my dad did everything right. And I call him after that session, because it was very hard, very difficult heartbreak. I didn't know what I'm going to do. Should I stay open? Should I go and close my heart again? I really didn't want to, but I also realized that this has to be dealt with. It took me a year, by the way, talking about transformation and really deep insights. So I spoke with my dad, and I told him how I feel, and I told him that, I really would love to hear that you love me. I really would love to hear that you're proud of me. And I felt such a pressure that he's not proud, and he disappointed in me that I'm in America and, I'm not making $1 million or having kids. Think more about the family line, right? Or family. That I divorced, all those kind of things. I felt such a burden, and thus I didn't even want to talk to him. I didn't want to have a relationship because all of that was on the back of my head. And when this happened, I really just realized that even when I was talking to him, right, I really realized that it's good to open up your heart in the right way. I didn't want to blame him. And I listened to him, and he said, yes, I didn't know how to raise a daughter. I didn't know what to tell you. I didn't know where to take you. He took me to fishing once, and I was like, great experience. I'm like 7 years old or something, and I'm fishing. Like, boring, right? But for him, it's the most enjoyable activities. He never takes anyone. And he took me, so that means something. Then my mom told me that when I was little, he would let me down, and he would just make me sleep in his hands. And then it's just the way he expresses his love. It's just the way he wants to tell me that he misses me, that he loves me, but he can't. Based on his life path too. When we spoke, everything changed. We had that conversation. I remembered to be a daughter, and I had the challenge, and this is what I do for my clients. So if you have any issues with your parents, I really recommend you this exercise. I started calling him every day. just being a daughter, just telling him what's going on, just certain things like, hey, oh yeah, this was this, you know what? And I'm like, but Daddy, you know what I did today? Oh my God. And little by little, it shifted to the point where even my mom asked me, like, what did you do? Like, he changed. He's more softer now. He's in his 70s, so imagine the stubbornness comes with the package there. He's softer. He's more. I don't know. That's probably the word for my dad I would use. He's softer, and I can't wait to have any conversations with him because they're so light. And after that, I realized that there's an entire family line that I was also missing. And my relationships with my parents have never been better. It has never been better. And I'm so grateful for this. So this is another thing I'm proud of by my 35 years old, that with both my parents and all my entire family, I changed the way I think it should be to the way of it's actually perfect. And this gives tremendous power, believe me. It's like plus 50 to your energy levels, for sure. I'm very proud of it. Another probably insight that I also want to share in this video, and I probably will make more, I just don't want to make it like overwhelmingly long, is that realization that everything in life is for you, not against you. I worked so hard, to be honest, I was asking God, I want to love people. I want to really love people. Because if I work with people, like the sun, the sun shines for everyone. So it was a very hot conversation. That's why my camera decided to turn itself off. So as the sun shines bright for everyone, I was working on really accepting everyone the way they are, because that was the huge topic in my life and all my lessons. I was presented with, people challenging situations where I thought that I somehow obligated and need to change them, was really voting for them. And then I felt bad if they just didn't follow through or didn't decide to go and take this path. And it was really weighing on me a lot. It was like a burden on my shoulders, and I felt like a loser. I felt like I'm failing everyone who's around me. And honestly, I think I had enough of it, and I decided to let go of resentment, of anger, and I asked God to really take it from me. I don't need this. I really want to have right intentions and bright light within. So if I interact with anyone, they feel great in my presence. And I started meditating on this, and little by little I saw the change happening. I saw that if I look at someone who I might judge before, I saw them as very beautiful souls on their own path, with their own choices and their own free will. And everything changed. My life has changed after this. It became so much lighter. It's just so amazing. When you see the beauty in everyone, when you realize that everyone is perfect the way they are, and in that point of their journey, it's their journey. And all you can do is to be a good example for them, is to support them, and also step back if they decide not to follow with your advice or your help. So that was a big one as well. Acceptance in general. Like, life is not against me. And due to certain things and certain events that happened in my life, I really was thinking that the life is actually against me, that everything happens against me. And I was fighting and fighting and fighting back, and presenting myself as the warrior of light, but I'm gonna fight. And you know what? Nothing good comes from fighting. And I think I was just so exhausted, and I said, look, you know what? I just wanna be. I just want to see it differently. And also knowing that our thoughts create our reality, I realized that probably is not the problem is not in the reality, the problem is in my thoughts. And I started changing this as well. I started seeing everything that happens as the blessing. It's not easy. I'm gonna tell you this, it's not easy. Certain things easier than other things, but certain challenges, come and go faster. Certain things still very hurtful, but keeping that thought on the back of my head that it's for you, it's not against you. And probably there is something for you to learn from, and probably there is something for you to just take with you as a good memory. And that was another big big success for me, and I'm proud of it as well. That I don't want to say proud, I think it's just a natural thing to do, I guess. It just makes your life way better when you see the things that they are and you accept them the way they are. You might not agree with them, but you also have free will not to let them in your life, right? So that was a big one. Another big one was to recognize the light within, was to actually recognize myself. I obviously, with my path, I had to become very high achieving person and a perfectionist, and you know, like demand more from myself, to the point where I realized that no matter what I do is not enough. No matter how hard I try, it's not enough for me. I don't acknowledge it, I don't see it, I can't even be happy for certain things that happen, and I don't see them as wins, I see them as okay thing, right? Cut. And I just got tired of it. And I remember driving in my car, and was something, either I was listening to something or just insight came to my mind. And I realized that I, for so many years, don't even see myself. I don't even see how hard I try to please myself, how hard I try to make it, you know? And that's where like I started crying in my car, and I felt, I don't want to say I felt pity for myself. I felt that I neglected myself for so long. And no wonder certain relationships that I had the same aspect. Because if I barely could notice myself and my worth, thinking that my worth was only into things I was doing, into gifts I was buying, into service and not just being, how could I possibly imagine or expected others to give me that? Never comes from outside, always starts with you. And when I started doing this, I realized how people cherish my friendship, how people grateful for it, how they listen, and I'm like, oh wait, okay, cool, interesting. So even the business that I started, like dog sitting business, right? I realized that dogs just love to be around because I'm like so light with them. I'm putty, doggy, my little poppers, right? Look, he's right there. He's like, what are you doing? And I realized, oh wow, wait a second. So maybe it's not about really what kind of label do you have, social status. It's mostly who you're being. Because if you're being a good person, if you're being a light, if you're being the person who motivates and drives others, inspires others, help them, serve them, then most likely things that you're doing also will be respected. And that was huge. That was really huge for me. Again, I sometimes fall into the trap again. I forget and I start again this high achieving race. But I also remember that this is nothing bad in wanting to do more. Is that recognize it, stop and acknowledge it, and celebrate the small wins. Otherwise, it's just never enough. It just never gets to the point where you will be satisfied. So that was another huge one. Realization that everyone is very important as well. I think that's another one, because I tend to think before that some people are most important, some not. And I think it's just the choice they make, right? Because the purpose of us as the entire holistic mechanism and organism in this planet is to, you know, strive, is to make life better, is to evolve. And you can't even, like I was meditating once and it was shown to me how everyone is connected and how everyone is important. Everything is so, and it's so fascinating how everything is linked with each other. And then the synchronizations just start happening in my life, where I started seeing behind the veil, and I realized far out. And that's why it also made my purpose and mission even stronger, my belief that if I can only help people to see how unique they are, and if everyone would just slightly improve or increase their own life, the purpose, the things that they do, how they do it, wow, the entire planet as the chain reaction would change. And that's when we say, I want to change the world. But you always need to start from within, always. And that was big for me, just seeing how other people are important. And yes, I still deal with sometimes when I see that, let's say there's a wasting of a talent, I don't get upset anymore. I just try to be there for the person if it's close to me. Just try to maybe just support and just do what I'm doing. Do you? You know what they say, do you. Really do you. And when people see it, they see the qualities they would like to possess, and they see that, wow, wait a second, having purpose is when you fire it up, is when you have also hobbies, is when you have people around you, meaningful connections, is when you have clarity, is when the ideas flow into you, you have this passion for life. It's that, having purpose. Hey, I want to do that too. Give me that. Whatever you have, give me that, right? So that was interesting as well. And so far, it's been a very interesting journey. Very interesting journey. Another one is that it was today during my meditation is two things. Fear. I'm like long thinker when it comes to launching my program right now. It's the numerology, neurographics, and a lot of great personal development tools that help people find their purpose, find that inner light, gain clarity, and be confident in that, because I think that's very important. The program is amazing, and I kind of like put it together from hosting different types of programs, working with people, having this data, seeing what works best. And I realized today that the reason I was postponing everything is that I was overthinking, and also I was attaching my worth and my success, I guess, or recognition with this program. Because what if I launch this program and nobody buys it or nobody wants it, then that means that I am not worthy, and that means that what I do is not important, right? And that was a huge realization for me, that I'm like, wow, I attached so much value into this instead of attaching value into the delivering the results and helping people. You know, even if it's one person who buys this program, it's one person. And if I can help one person in this program, this person will probably recommend to other people. But the quality, you know, like the meaning, the value that this people will get. And I know for sure, I had so many different already cases that I saw, like I launched 3 different transformational programs. All of them were successful, 100% rates. People amazing. They still contact me saying, hey, just remember when we had like 2 years ago this program, remember what you said. Oh my God, I see that right now, look at what's happening. I always keep in touch with my people, so I know what's going on in their life. And yet, it's like I needed another confirmation from something. And then I realized, oh, that's just a fear. That's just a fear that if I launch this program, people don't see value in it, then I'm not worthy and I'm not a successful person. So that was interesting. That was really interesting insight. And I realized that it's not about that. It's just about creating it and making it better step by step, with obviously learning, marketing, you know, all those things. But I think if you're truly speaking from your heart, if you're truly passionate about what you do, I feel like that's what people pick up on. Not like me trying to trick someone right into the program, but just really showing, hey, this is exactly what I do. This is what I've learned. This is what science has to say. This is what spiritual world has to say. This is the combination, and that's the perfect mix. That's the perfect cocktail. So yeah, that was interesting insight as well, like the fear of not being recognized because of the work you do. And the last one probably is that it was beautiful. I was meditating and I closed my eyes, and on that mountain, when I sit down and meditate, it kind of downloads come very fast. I go into very deep meditation state there. And I felt like I am one with the nature, with the world, with every person, with the sky, with just the space. I'm the one. And that's where all fears stem from, is that we're afraid of separation. We're afraid to speak up because we think that people won't take it and we will be cut out from our tribe. And it's a very old fear, by the way, which is there. Like, you can also Google it and read about it. But separation is only in our head. It could not be a separation if we're already everything and everywhere all at once. So that fear really disappeared when I realized that I will never be alone. I will always have my people around me. And that whatever comes to me is the message from the source, the universe, God. And how can I just have it for myself? How? Why? Because when we do this, when we keep it to ourselves, that's where life starts poking at us, like a little financial trouble here, a little here, health implications. That's the big one for me. When I completely stopped and was just on the wrong path, life had to throw a curveball at me and say, like, come back, girl, that's not your path. Type 1 diabetes was exactly because I was just lost, you know. And I think the time right now is changing a lot. Like, I can think of something and it's gonna happen tomorrow. We gotta change the ways we see and the ways we're being, because it's not as before. Probably notice that everything is so fast. Before, you could think of something and it may manifest itself somewhere. You can get along with bad things, but now, no. And I think it's a great time for everybody to start awakening, start stepping into their path, to their purpose, to their own mission, to taking responsibility for their lives, for lives around them, not being selfish, saying, well, this is your problem, the way you reacted is your. Well, maybe it's not your problem, maybe it's the way you convey or you talk to people, you know. Taking responsibility for that, checking in with ourselves, getting deeper into self-development, getting deeper into self-discovery, challenging our thoughts, improving the way we being in the world, with the world, raising our vibrations and getting exactly what we need. Because honestly, for me, money, success, cars or houses, it's never been a measure of success. And this fly is literally telling me this. It's never been a measure of success. For me, is how people talk about me when I'm not in the room. What do I do? Am I doing something helpful? That's to me. Am I being in alignment with myself? Am I in peace? Am I waking up in the morning having this beautiful energy? Am I grateful for people? Am I feeling this gratitude? Do I have great relationships with my parents? That's what's important for me. That's the measure of success in my life. And I'm working on the financial aspect of it. I don't want to say I don't want to experience beautiful things. I do. Honestly, today I wrote, I want financial success because I want to give it back. I really want to give back. I want to buy my parents something beautiful, take my entire family on vacation. I want to build houses for homeless people. I want to give back, but I don't want to keep it just for myself. And of course, I want to enjoy things that God created, because everything we have here and what we can buy for money, with money, is the creation of God through human beings. So I think this is it. It's getting late. I still have a long walk to do, a little bit of a closing of my birthday, setting my intention to the next year. Probably gonna say it right now. My intention is to launch this program and help people finding their purpose, finding their mission, their place in life, their path, aligning with their true voice authentically. This program is something that keeps me definitely up at night, launching that and building community also around this, having experts and coaches there, because I feel this is my power, help other people to also showcase their talents. And thankfully I have skills for that, studied many hours. That's one. Another one is I want to open up a doggy daycare. Oh my God, I'm talking about it. Yeah, I really want to do this because I have tremendous love for dogs, and I think it's very meaningful. And the part of the income I want to dedicate to shelters, film certain videos about doggies, and so people can connect more through video if they are unable to come and visit right away. I have a podcast which is here on YouTube, which I also need to deal with and separate it. It was a relationships kind of thing because it was of my interest, and I think that's the part of it. But what I really wanted to do is to business is something that I really I can talk business ideas, business processes, and all the stuff like 24/7. And the podcast that I want to do is to have people who build the purposeful meaning in meaningful business, interview them and see their story, and through that showcase other people that, hey, this is not Tony Robbins or Grant Cardone, right? Who's very hard relatable. It's kind of hard to follow what they say just because there's a gap, a huge gap. But if this is the person, your neighbor, who made it, and now, again, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the way these people feel and how they serve. Because this money is just energy that comes as the exchange to what you put out. That's it. All right, really have to finish up with my phone now because my GoPro was very hot from this hot conversation. The energy was raising, so I have to just finish it up. So sorry for the switching in the quality just a little bit. But what I was trying to say is that the podcast that I want to launch and have is just to showcase people that it's possible to have it all. It's possible to have meaningful business things that you want to do, and also serve and have money and have financial freedom as well. So those are the main things that I am creating right now, and I will definitely gladly check in next year. And you can hold me accountable as well. Probably follow me on Instagram, which is Julia_Dars_. And also subscribe to my newsletter below. I finally also launched it. Also was very resistant, but when I sat down and started writing, I found my voice. I found how I want to do this newsletter, how I would like to share with people certain things, and beautiful stories and amazing tools. And I would love for you to be there as well. I don't spam because I just still working on actually sitting down and doing the work. So for now, it's just bi-weekly. But yeah, it would be very great if you do this as well, and we connect through my email, through my newsletter. Also, if you can do me a favor and do like a gift for me, if you can like this video, comment something under this video, maybe something resonated with you, you going through something similar. And if you can share this video with others, because I really want more people to hear that. I really want more people to start changing their narrative and their reality, so we have a better world to live in and to have our kids in this better reality. So thank you so much. I love you and appreciate your support. Until the next time.